Hello, I'm John Hayes, President and CEO of Tripoli Bank. Tripoli Bank has been in business for over 115 years. Our history means a lot to us, both as a reminder of how much we've grown, as well as a bond connecting us to our community. It is because of our bank's long history that we support local historical societies, all of whom are dedicated to recording the rich history of the Lehigh Valley. We recently interviewed members of several of these societies to collect their thoughts on the importance of preserving and celebrating that history. Their answers were equal parts enlightening, entertaining, and moving. We now invite you to listen and learn why history is important, what historical societies do to preserve our history, and how you can help support their mission. Thank you.
History is a passion for me, and it all started when I was a child. My grandmother took me to Gettysburg and showed me her grandfather's name on the monument. He was killed there on the first day of the battle. So that kind of put the hooks in me when I was about 5 years old. And from there on in, I've just been fascinated with it. It's been a lifelong journey tracing back my roots.
Well, I've always been interested in history. I just think it's so important to know the history of your area. The good thing is that in this area is just steeped in history. There are so many places you can go to that were involved in the Revolutionary War, the Civil War.
I'm fascinated by genealogy and past ancestors, learning about what they went through, and it's fascinating to me to understand what kind of lives they lived.
I was in high school in the 60s, and Carl Snyder was on the school board. Carl found out that I had a love of history. Matter of fact, I was going away to college to major in history. Flash forward about 20, 30 years. Every time I would see him, he'd say, well, we denkstunger, Masada in Historical Society uppstarta. What do you think, kid? We should start a historical society.
I have spent the greater part of the last 40 years traveling the world. In my last job, I would be going somewhere else in the world, and I'd be appreciating the incredible ancient ruins and palaces and, majestic places of worship. And here in the northwestern part of Lehigh County, we also have a very unique and rich history that doesn't pale in comparison to those others. It may not be as well known, but I think it's important for people to appreciate, the important role that the Pennsylvania Dutch in particular have played in this part of the country.
History is important to me, especially over the last 20 years. I call myself a historian volunteer. I've been involved with a number of projects, and I like when I see an opportunity to take something that needs some help and bring it back to life so others can enjoy it, and that's what I enjoy most about history.
I got involved with the Local Historical Society through my father, who was one of the founders of the organization. He loved history from youth on up, and I think when my sister and I were born, we were charged with loving history, because everywhere we went, we always went to the historical sites.
To me, history is like a jigsaw puzzle. You can do it without a lot of pieces, or if there's a lot of pieces missing, but you're not going to have a complete picture. So the same thing is if you're living in an area, you might have a great life, but if you don't understand the history of your family or of the area, you're just not getting the whole picture.
I think it's important because it gives us a foundation, a connection to our ancestors in the past. If you don't understand or have a sense of your history, you're doomed to repeat it. And in this area, we have a lot of documented history going back to the founding of our country.
History provides us with a variety of settings to learn about the human experience, and it teaches us about what works and what doesn't work.
Well, I think that folks get a sense of why things are the way they are, whether it's a social structure or the way a building is built, or why the land is used that way. It's all part of the history.
History is a guidepost to where we're going. I always say you can't go somewhere if you don't know where you've been. History doesn't just happen to somebody else. It doesn't happen to somebody 300 years ago. It happens to you as well.
No matter what your interest, whether gardening, sports, music, whatever it is, there's history behind that.
I think history is important to everybody because you're able to understand the world better. You understand the motivations of people. You can not necessarily forecast the future, but you're more comfortable about events that occur and how that might impact things in the future.
One of the biggest challenges we faced as historians and educators is that our local history is full of personal stories and experiences, but unless we record those stories, it's going to end up being lost when those people pass away. And so the biggest challenge for us is to make sure that those stories continue to be passed down to our children.
It's important to know where you are and what's happened in history prior. We learn so much from history.
History is important to me because it shows a line of continuum from the past to where we are. We want to see that continuum, we want to experience it and share it with our children.
The more you know the history of your area, the more you appreciate your area, and I hope to instill that interest in everybody I speak with.
People that are involved in their local history, to me, they always seem to make better citizens. They're involved in their fire companies, their churches, any other organization in the community. And I firmly believe that if you belong to a historical society, you know your roots, you make a much better citizen.
When you know about certain things that happen around your local neighborhood and you say, oh yeah, they used to make barrels here, or Powder Valley, there was a gunpowder factory that exploded. It makes life more interesting if you know things that happened.
History, at the end of the day, for me, is all about connectedness. It's about understanding where we've come from and understanding the people and the places that make us who we are.
The understanding of local history kind of gives us a feeling of connection. And that way we kind of learn where we came from and what our role and our part is in our community.
When people preserve their space and acknowledge the beauty that we have, the natural beauty in this environment, people want to live here and they will feel safe and secure.
History is important, and without the historical societies, we stand a chance of losing a lot of that history, or at least the understanding of what went before. So if people aren't supporting it, those organizations could fade and we'd lose an important part of our personal history and area history.
Well, it's important to support the society because it actually exemplifies, what's going on in the area. It actually explains what history was all about, and the Preservation Society does that.
With historical sites, if they're not taken care of, they will just disappear, as so many of them have. If you just let things disappear, you're missing out on so much.
It's not a matter of life and death, and it's not like helping starving people. But if things like this go away, fall down, they're gone forever.
I mean, you look around yourself here, and there's so much information here, so many things that are, antique, I guess you want to call it, but there's so many things here. They do so many things. I would hate to see it end.
People come to support the society for a myriad of reasons, and of course, we always have fun with our events that help to preserve our culture and our rich heritage here in northern Berks County.
Our goals are all the same. So in order to continue to grow, we really do need to work together to do that. And we've been really working hard to support and work together with other historical societies also.
I think it's important to support our society and other societies as well, because we're all interconnected, and anytime you help one another, you're helping really everyone improve, whether it be things that are collected or the collection of the knowledge and experiences of people that may have recorded their experiences or donated materials to whatever museum, and things can be shared.
We may receive some donations here that may belong to another historical society collection, and we will make sure that they get those donations.
Collectively, between all of the different historical societies, we get different aspects of these community changes that have culminated in who we are today and help to shine the path of where we're going to be going in the future.
It's important just to support us because we support the community back. For people that just moved to the area, it's a study of their own community that they currently reside in.
It can be a social activity. When we have our meetings, we often have refreshments and people mingle and stay and have an opportunity to visit with their neighbors. And I think that's a very important part of our function.
It's important for the community to get involved. And when they have functions, it's so exciting because people come from everywhere and it's valued. My parents would come from Long Island and they would come and enjoy it. It was just really exciting.
Historical societies can't exist without members, and it's not just for the financial reason, but if you can get a lot of members and come to meetings and read the materials that we put out, you become so much better educated about your community, and you have a better feeling for your community because you know more. It's you, it's part of you. It's not just this place that you're living for the next 10 years.
I am convinced it makes better citizens when you're involved in your community, your historical society, your churches, your fire companies, any other organization out there. Join your historical society. You'll find that there's a lot of good people, a lot of good things going on, and it's much better for our community.
So the responsibility is on us to make sure that, those shining examples from the past that, again, make us who we are today, those stories are preserved and passed down, and the historical societies are key in making sure that that happens.
In my 70 some odd years on this earth, the area has changed so much, and there's been so many more diverse population in the area. We want to bring that to them, show them where we came from and how the progression of history has been.
I grew up in Scotland, so that's a whole lot different from here. And wherever I am, I want to know something about the community. I think if more people were to know what we do and to participate in what we are doing, we would have a better community.
So actually one of the reasons I founded the Historical Society, I had a sense that we were beginning to lose a lot of our culture and the old folks and the old stories that made this place what it is. Over the years, we did many projects for the Historical Society. And the one that really sticks out in my mind is when we created a photographic history book titled Good Land, Good People. To me, that summed up the whole region which we call the Alemangle, which encompasses our sister organizations, Lynn Heidelberg and Weisenberg-Lowhill. We were all part of the Alemangle, that region of Pennsylvania, which was founded in the mid-1700s, and a great amount of history here, tying in with the French Indian War era, the trappers, the settlers, the Indian raids, etc. So it's still history that's breathing to me, and the land speaks to me and to our neighbors and to our friends, and that's why they support the Historical Society.
I think one of the things that Upper Milford does that I haven't seen in a lot of other societies is that we don't take for granted what changes are happening now. With construction projects, new roads going in, bridges being improved, new businesses coming to town, a lot of societies don't record that. But it's so important to capture what's going on right now because this is history. And so I spend a lot of my time both collecting things and also photographing any of the changes that occur in the township.
I think there's a myth out there that younger people don't have any interest in history, and I know from my own children, they love the things that I've shown them over the years, and they've been excited about the various volunteer projects I've done, from helping to restore a vintage 50s diner to building a coke oven which was used for the fuel to make steel in Pittsburgh, to turning around a Civil War statue that was facing the wrong way.
I was a teacher at Northwestern Lehigh, and we believed so much in history that for many, many years we had a project going called Project Preserve. And what we did was we asked the students to find something, a person, a place, a thing within the district and research it. They did an oral presentation on it. They wrote a paper on it. The kids didn't know that the American Revolution was actually part of it fought on our football field. They had no clue. Just things like that. It was so exciting to see them get excited.
In 2017, we created a program with the 1803 house, the Knaus Homestead, the Shelter House, and God's Acre Cemetery. The Emmaus Historical Society created a PowerPoint presentation for the schools to introduce the program and to introduce the 4 sites before the 3rd graders then went on field trips to each one of the sites.
We're not so much interested here in collecting artifacts. Our focus has always been more on oral histories. The things, yes, while they're important, they don't tell the full story. It's the people who lived here and the people who remain here.
I'm also one of the few people that's fortunate enough to have learned and spoke the dialect of Pennsylvania German, grew up with it, and currently involved with the Grinzow lodges, which are unique to our area. A lot of the thoughts and ways and beliefs of the Pennsylvania Dutch are what we try to promote.
We've also acknowledged things like the closing of our local elementary school, where we had an open house where the community could come and see their school for the last time before it was sold.
Right now I am working on scanning old wills and inventories from the 1700s that we have in our record, and we're putting them into our museum grade software, Past Perfect. It takes a lot of time. It's fun reading the documents, so if anyone's interested in doing something like that, we would love to have you.
Really, it's the residents of your township that make your society. They bring artifacts that you want to have to show others. They bring stories and experiences of what it was like to grow up in the area. We really provide quite a bit of a service by being the repository for artifacts and information.
If you have things in your home that you no longer want or need, such as photographs, it's a wonderful thing to bring them down rather than throw them out. Bring them to us. Tell us a little bit about the people in them.
We hear so often, oh, I didn't know you'd want that. We threw that away. You know, if you're not sure, call them and ask them before. Old pictures, anything, things that we always say, things that were used here in Emmaus, owned by somebody in Emmaus, we are interested in.
A lot of people come and talk to us and share stories with us, and we really enjoy when people share their family stories, because there's a lot that's not been written down, and we encourage people to record their family memories and share with us.
People can support us by coming to our programs and becoming members, of course, and volunteering. That's a big thing. Considering our small community and the population we have to draw from, and the fact that there are a lot of people here who haven't lived here all their lives, we have a tremendous amount of support.
People come and share crafts that they do. They teach crafts that they know. The kids learn to do things. The fire company comes with the fire engine for the kids. Music groups come. And when you participate in those things, you really begin to embrace where you live.
We never charge for our public meetings, even if we pay a speaker. It's all gratis to the public, because as an organization, we feel it's important to pass on the knowledge that we've gained, to pass it on to the next generation.
When there are events, and there are several throughout the year which are varied, just to support them. Most events are no charge. Many are related to fundraisers or just open house types of thing, and just can walk around.
When we do our Pioneer Apple Festival, we need people to help in all different ways, from parking to selling food to just telling people about the different buildings.
Something simple as dropping off a coat out here at the coat rack, or books for the lending library, coupons that we can put into the basket raffles or give away for the various Halloween events that we have throughout the fall. Any of that's important.
The society has so many different things during the year, raffles, there's always yard sales and all kinds of entertainment and things. So if people would support just those things, I think it would help a lot.
We have master gardeners who take care of the gardens around our log house and our museum. They share their artistic talents through our films by recording their local family histories and sharing that with us, and artifacts that they have, and just their overall enthusiasm.
We had to repaint the walls because they were covered in graffiti. We got somebody to donate paint. I got somebody to donate a weed whacker so our sign looks good after Kurt cuts our grass. People want to help, you just have to ask them.
Our societies are all nonprofit and our trustees are volunteers, so we rely heavily upon their donations, their membership funds. They all help go to preserve our artifacts, our stories, so that we can pass them down to our children.
For local businesses, it's a chance to get involved and show support to the Historical Society through donations.
teach your children about history and maybe coming to join us. And I'm not just talking about children that are in elementary, high school. I'm talking children that are in their 40s and 50s.
We're not going to be here forever, so someone is going to have to pick up the ball. So education, preservation, it's all part of it.
There are a lot of different jobs to do in a local historical society. There's fundraising, there's managing of the collections. If they have a museum, there's people who have to be docents at the museum. There's grant writing if they have a very large project that they need extra money for.
If there are ways that you have special talents that you can use to support the mission, come out and be a volunteer as well. So there's tons of ways to support the historical societies, and we all just have one little part in that. None of us is going to do it alone. It really is a team, and just encourage people to become part of the team.